watching online, if you're here and the love, the excitement, the smiles, the camaraderie, the conversations that we're having here, it is super amazing. My name is Kang, and I'm the Minister of Advanced Education and Skills Training, and I will be your MC for this morning. I'm so glad that you can all be here for this very important and exciting step forward in the spirit of reconciliation. I'm honored to join you today on the territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations, and thank you so much for welcoming us here and allowing us to gather here and to make this announcement. First, I want to welcome Chief Gibby Jacob, Hereditary Chief of the Squamish Nation, and Nicola Valley Institute of Technology Elder, to share a welcome with us. Elder Jacob.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so pleased to be here with you today for this great announcement. I'd like to welcome Premier Mayor. Good to have you here with us. No, you can't escape. On behalf of our people, of our three nations, welcoming each and every one of you. There are many who've traveled a long distance to be here this morning from Merritt. Welcome all of you, Chief, wherever you are. I can't see with the lights, but right in front of me, that's why. But just so happy to be here with you to share a bit of this wondrous day. I think it's a great step forward for all of our young people and those who are mature students. I know we have many in our institutions that are looking to take another step forward in their journey. So I just ask you to pray in your own way. Creator, we thank you for bringing us together today to share in the wondrous news that we are about to receive. I share a special prayer for those who've worked so long and hard to get this institution and this facility in place, thanking the elders of our nations that they continue to share their wisdom and their goodness, that the young people will hear what they have to say. Again, thanking all of you.
Thank you so much, Chief Gibby Jacob, for your beautiful start and a good start to our announcement today. So I am honored that my ministry and this government are supporting the Urban Native Youth Association and the Nicola Valley Institute of Technology's vision. This vision for so many over the past 20 years, and our next speaker has been intimately connected with it. Her energy, her passion is so contagious. When she talks about this particular project, I could see the tears coming out of her eyes. I could feel the love overflowing. And so it is now my absolute pleasure and honor to welcome Minister Melanie Mark, who is also the local MLA for Vancouver-Mount Pleasant, to the podium to share this incredible news. Melanie?
Simgaget, Sigaramanak, Gibudwiltsuk. Good morning, everyone. What a glorious day. The sun is shining, and my heart is filled, it is overflowing with hope. My Niska name's Lahaikwiskak. My grandmother went to St. Michael's Residential School, or Niska. My dad's parents went to Brandon and Elk Lake Residential Schools. Thank you for starting us off in such a good way and welcoming us to your beautiful, traditional, unceded territory. This day is for the youth. And I stand here proudly with my daughters. And I want to take a moment to share the journey, because I stood out on the corner of Hastings and Commercial with my baby girl, Maya. She was in my arms, And the headline said, "Let's build a better world for Native youth." And today we are going to do that. Maya used to sit on my lap at the boardroom tables. She wasn't around yet. But I'm crying because when this center was our dream, I didn't know about residential school and what happened to my grandparents. In my quote, I'm going to read my quote for this project, because people said, "What does it mean to you?" For an entire generation, urban Indigenous youth have been planning for this day. The vision for this center directly responds to numerous calls to action from young Indigenous leaders who challenged all levels of government to create pathways for them to thrive. This center weaves culture, education, wellness, and empowerment into a groundbreaking center for excellence and signals to all Indigenous youth that their lives matter. Indigenous youth deserve every opportunity to dream big and excel as they heal from the calculated decisions by former governments who used Indian residential schools to kill the Indian and the child. So when I share with you that my grandparents went to residential school, I didn't stop believing in this center. But politics matters. I have to tell you, I delivered lots of plastic $1 million checks downstairs. $1 million isn't going to build this dream house, this place of belonging. So I am taking a moment to say thank you to all of you who paddled in this canoe, who had a vision, who had a dream, who had hope for the future. For our young Indigenous youth, the fastest growing population in the country, to be able to dream big. It may sound provocative to you. This is not the new residential school. But Justice Murray Sinclair said, "Education got us into this mess, and education is going to get us out." NVIT. I'm just going to hold on to my girls, and I just want you to all not forget, don't ever forget to dream, to believe, to be proud of who you are and where you come from. NVIT, I love you. You guys do amazing work. You do. Let's give a round of applause to NVIT for their work. And to everyone who traveled down here to be here for this historic moment. Anya, Matt Norris, and everyone at Anya, you guys are the best kept secret in Vancouver. You give young people the chance to believe in themselves and to dream big. There's going to be a lot of amazing speakers. But what this project is, it started with a dream. When I was Advanced Education Minister, I invited both parties to come together. Native Youth Centre was growing out of its space. NVIT was growing out of its space. We brought them in a room. We dreamed big. We got a concept plan. You got the news release. Today, government is announcing the approval of the concept plan to build that business case, which is going to be the blueprint for our future. You're going to hear all about it. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with what I always say, paddle together. Thank you, everyone. Tuxieism.
Thank you so much, Melanie. Thank you so much, Minister Mark. Your passion for this project is clear. As we talk about this, planning has been for 20 years. the plan, the organization, we forgot one thing, is to bring tissues, because there will be tears of happiness today. So thank you so much for the inspiration. We are grateful for your dedication for the work over the last 2 years and that last 2 decades that had helped us get here today. This project truly is a result of many people working together, paddling together, working towards a shared vision led by Indigenous peoples. I would now like to ask and invite Alaska Grayson to come and share her story. Alaska is a current member of the ANYA board and also a graduate from Nicola Valley Institute of Technology. Alaska.
Tanse, Alaska Nitsi Kason, Nistanao Newosa, Netutato Pipanan, Arcola Ochinas Nitochin, Ekwa, Oskana, Kaasaki, Mekwak, Newigan. Hello, my name is Alaska Grayson Big Eagle. I am from Treaty 4. I was born in Arcola, and I am Nakota and Plains Cree. I grew up here on Squamish Nation, and I am also the secretary and youth rep for the board of directors, and I was also the president for Student Society at NVIT, as well as a graduate. I'm so happy to be here with everybody. I know that both NVIT and ANYA have come a long way. Both of them have helped to guide me to the person I am today. I find it so important as an Indigenous youth to have culturally safe spaces, and both of them have been that for me. Yeah, I think that's everything.
Thank you so much, Alaska, and thank you so much to all the work that NVIT has been doing to supporting education, to supporting Indigenous-led education. Let NVIT not be the best kept secret, because today we're going to let the secret out to everyone who's watching online. Applause. Let's give a hand to NVIT again. Thank you. And so behind me is the incredible team at ANYA. And now I would like to welcome Matthew Norris, the president of Urban Native Youth Association, to speak. Matthew.
Tanse, Matthew Norris, Nisitigo-san, Laclarange, Tinita. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Norris. I am Nehtau Cree, member of the Laclarange First Nation in Northern Saskatchewan, signatories to Treaty 6. So happy to be here today. I want to first acknowledge the welcome that we've had. I've lived on the unceded traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples for 15 years. It's also been my honor and privilege to be the president on the board of the Urban Native Youth Association. I want to recognize all the guests we have today, the elders, the youth, the chiefs that are in the room. I want to thank Chief Gippy Jacobs for the welcome and the opening prayer, and to really set this announcement off in a good way. I want to thank Premier Horgan, Minister Mark, Minister Kang, Mayor Stewart, our colleagues at ANYA, and our friends at NVIT for being here to witness this announcement. This announcement has been a long time in the making. ANYA has been working for nearly 20 years, advocating and pushing and fighting for the creation of a new youth center at the corner of Commercial and Hastings. And I'm so happy to share this announcement with you. This project has so much potential. It has so much potential to address the disproportionate impacts that we face as a community from the ongoing affordable housing crisis, poison drug supply, the gaps in our healthcare and our education institutions. And this project is presenting a kind of complete, integrated approach to building community to meet our youth and our young learners where they're at. It's going to provide culturally appropriate programming, healthcare, housing, training, arts and culture programming, after-school care, childcare, and so much more. I'm so excited to share this announcement with you all, but I'll be more excited when we can welcome you all into the building in just a little bit of time. Thanks so much for sharing this. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for being here today.
This is an amazing team from Anya, and as you know, they work together, they even stand together, and I've been able to quickly tour Anya today to see the wonderful programming they have, and this expansion of space will certainly be a huge benefit and provide a better and brighter future for the Native youth here in urban centers. Next, I would like to welcome Cheryl Robinson, who is the Anya CEO, to the podium to share her inspiration words.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Cheryl Robinson. We have a truck acting. Of course, I'll use my big voice. My name is Cheryl Robinson. I am the CEO of Urban Native Youth Association. I'm honored to be here with you today. I just want to share that I'm Statliam and I'm Nishka. I have been born and raised in Vancouver, so I've spent all my life living in the urban setting. I know what it's like to want more programming in the city. I know what it's like to lack that programming. I grew up like that. I grew up without access to cultural programming. And I didn't want that for my children. I didn't want my children to not have access to their roots, their culture, and their teachings. I'm privileged and honored to be here today. I've worked in the Indigenous community for over 25 years and worked directly with youth. I bring experience, and I say when we want to build this brand new center and we want to have these integrated approach that will be of huge benefit to our community. This will provide incredible opportunities for our Indigenous youth to grow, to thrive, to heal, to develop those skills so that they can too become leaders of tomorrow. Thank you for being here. I'm incredibly honored. I can't wait for the day for us to be able to open the doors to a brand new center that we can have community gatherings in, have sports tournaments in, have cultural feasts in. This is where my heart, that's where my heart belongs. I get goosebumps thinking of it, thinking of us all being able to gather together in this beautiful building so that we can share feasts together and share cultural gatherings. That is something that we're lacking here in the city. We need that access. Our youth need that access. Our youth need to be able to walk into a safe space and try new things, explore their cultural identity. Thank you again. I'm so incredibly honored that we're able to make this announcement today and we're able to move forward with the next stage of this project. It's been a long time coming and we're ready here and we're ready to do it. So please, thank you everybody. I'm incredibly honored to work with all the partners in this project, and let's make this happen.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, and the passion that Anya has to program for Indigenous youth and urban centers to help them succeed and to help them realize their full potential. Thank you so much to all the work that Anya has been doing. Next, we will be hearing from Lila Williams, Vice President of Anya Board. Lila?
Denise, Zakoze, Skyze, Hati Soanzin, Jean Tapihanzu, Sai Suzy, Layla Williams. I'll translate for you if you don't understand. Just kidding. I've acknowledged the male chiefs, the female chiefs, and their children. I said, hello everyone, it's a good day to be here with you. My name is Layla Williams, and I am the Vice President on Urban Native Youth Association's Board of Directors, and I've been a board member for the last 8 years. But Anya's been a part of my life for the last 18 years, where I began as a youth participant and a short time as a staff member, and currently a board member. And Anya, for me and the youth, they give the space, a safe space for youth to find themselves, their voices, and a safe space to build their cultural identity. One thing I've always noticed with the staff at ANIA is that they really pay attention to the youth and see their growth. Where they put them up for opportunities, they feel the youth are ready for. For myself, for the AGM I attended, where I was nominated for the board, and here I am 8 years later. So it's been great to it's been great to be a part of the work that we're doing, and I'm an ANIA lifer. Awatsa, Snakalia.
And thank you so much, Leila, for all the work that you are doing at ANIA. Very inspirational. Thank you. I am now honored to welcome Chief Lee Spaham from the Coldwater Indian Band to share a few words with us. Chief?
Hansla, in Jawa and Squash, Lee Spahan Cook Bivin Selectku. Hello everyone, Lee Spahan, Chief of the Coldwater Band from the Inlikup Nation. First of all, I'd like to thank Chief Gibby for the opening prayer and the welcome into your unceded territory and allowing us to do this important work here. Guksham. I'd like to acknowledge all the elders in attendance, as well as the Premier and the Mayor and the ministers. Thanks for allowing us to be here and the invitation for this great announcement. Recognize the traditional and unceded territories of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh nations. I want to thank the hereditary chief and NVIT, Elder Gibby, and to ensure we are grounded and that we start this important business in a good way. I'd like to also acknowledge the other chiefs of the Nicola, Chief Stu Jackson, couldn't be here, Chief Harvey McLeod, Chief Marcel Shackley, who couldn't be here, and Chief Arnold Lampreau. NVIT was founded in 1983 by the 5 Nicola bands in response to the Indian people struggling in post-secondary education in mainstream institutions. The vision of the First Nation leadership of the day, including Grand Chief Gordon Antoine and Robert Sterling, was to create a post-secondary institution with First Nations mandate so that our people can learn in an environment that is built upon our ethics, values, and beliefs, where students feel that they belong, where they can succeed, and where they thrive. What began as 12 students in the basement of the Lower Nicola Band Hall studying environmental resources has now become an award-winning Indigenous institution with a provincial mandate, with approximately 1,500 representing over 60% of BC's 203 First Nations bands. NVIT is an institution that our Elders Council embrace, teaches Indigenous curriculum, and is recognized as the only public post-secondary institution in BC with an Indigenous mandate. Indigenous education is not what NVIT does. It is who we are. Today's announcement will continue to ensure that NVIT meets the needs of urban Indigenous youth and students by creating a culturally safe and appropriate campus in the heart of Vancouver. The fact that we are partnering with the Urban Native Youth Association makes so much sense as the transition from youth to post-secondary student will be seamless. Today, my heart is full. The dream of the Nicola leadership back in the 70s and 80s continues to come to fruition. I'm so proud of the work that NVIT does and what they've accomplished over the last 39 years. On behalf of the Nicola Valley Chiefs, I want to acknowledge the support from the Premier and the provincial government. I want to recognize the tremendous leadership of the board chair, Sasha Leon, and the rest of the NVIT Board of Governors. And lastly, I want to recognize President Ken Tarand and his two VPs, Sue Sterling-Burr and Dr. John Chenoweth. Having an Indigenous senior executive leading BC's Indigenous post-secondary institution is critical to success. Thank you again for allowing me to be part of this exciting day, for allowing me to share a little history about NVIT, and to continue to support our Indigenous post-secondary institution. NVIT was founded in the Nicola Valley, but we are happy to share across BC. That was the speaking notes that I asked for Ken to print out, and I received a text from him, and he told me that he wasn't going to be here and that he was working on this for a very, very long time. And I was kind of upset, and I asked him, well, why aren't you coming? He came down with COVID on Monday. So, Ken is here, he's with us, and he's very happy, and he's smiling from ear to ear. So I had to mention that. It's them.
Thank you so much, Chief Lee Spaham, for your wonderful words. And yes, Ken did text me as well to say that he couldn't be here, and I said, oh, why? Ken has been working on this project for over 15 years, and he's so passionate about it, and he really wants to be here. But I'm going to wave hi to Ken because I know he's watching online, not here. He is at home healing and just taking a good rest. But Premier Horgan, also Minister Mark, also waved hi to Ken as well. So hi, Ken. Take care. But I want to thank NVIT so much for working towards student success, for working towards Indigenous student success. And we wouldn't be able to do that in partial because we have a wonderful board. And a wonderful board today representing the board is Sasha Leung, NVIT board chair, to speak a few words on behalf of NVIT and how wonderful the work that they are doing for students. Sasha.
Denizet Zakazet Skyzet. Orakai Zin Tabi Honzu. Site Sozit Sashia Liang. As my Wet'suwet'en relative did share, that is our traditional introduction and welcome to all of you. And I was thanking the Creator again for a beautiful day. So thank you, Layla, for starting us off. Elders, chiefs, Honorable Premier Horgan, Minister Mark, Minister Kang, Mayor Stewart, and invited honored guests. It is my great privilege to speak to you all today on behalf of the NVIT Board of Governors. Today, we celebrate a milestone marker of two visions that began long ago and came together in partnership to begin developing an Indigenous youth and education project, which I also like to call an Indigenous Youth and Education Urban Center of Excellence. Just putting it out there. Here, I thank also the neighbors for allowing us to use their warehouse, but eventually on these lands, we will have an amazing center where Indigenous youth, families, community, and learners will thrive and succeed. This could not have been possible without the tremendous efforts and many human hours, emotional labor, spiritual dedication of the past and present leaders, board members, and staff of both ANYA and NVIT. I also want to acknowledge the BC government and the City of Vancouver for your commitment to reconciliation, for being partners in developing this first-of-a-kind Indigenous Youth and Education Centre. Together, we're building a new legacy, one out from the legacy of colonialism into a new legacy of transformational change, of Indigenous empowerment, holistic wellness for Indigenous education, skills and training, youth services, recreation, health, housing, and childcare for tomorrow and for future generations. As the only public post-secondary institution with an Indigenous mandate in BC, today's announcement demonstrates the government's commitment and our shared collective responsibilities to implementing the TRC's calls to action, the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, as well as the BC DRIPA. I personally want to thank Minister Mark, for being a part of this the entire way through, and as well Minister Kang for continuing this partnership, as well to the amazing team and the ministry. It is not without their tremendous support that this would be happening. On a personal note, when I moved here from my home community of Whitsett, I was Anya, tutor mentor for Indigenous youth that were in high school here in the Lower Mainland. It was a privilege and an honor to be that because I truly believe in the integral role that education has in Indigenous success. I'm even more proud today to be serving in a new role, advancing that same goal. So on behalf of NVIT's First Nations Board of Governors, we are proud and excited to be partnering with ANYA. We're family now, and we're going to walk this path together. I also want to thank Infrastructure BC for developing the business case together. I, as well as Matthew and other leaders here and ministers, look forward to the day that we break ground and open this new center and academic campus. We are stronger together to achieve our visions and serve our people, communities, and nations. I hold my hands up to all of you, and my heart goes out to all of you as we celebrate in this important step. And Minister Mark, we absolutely are going to paddle together. Tabi Masai.
Thank you so much, Sasha, and to all of our board members for contributing your time to NVIT, contributing your creative ideas to make education even more creative and relevant to students at NVIT. Next, I would like to invite Sue Sterlingber, NVIT Vice President of Students, to speak, and as well bring greetings on behalf of the President, Ken Tarrant. Sue?
Yadikshin 11 Shnukshnuka Hanslak and Squesht Sue Sterling Burr Tusla Mertkin. Good morning, friends. It is a good day. My name is Sue Sterling Burr, and I am Vice President of Students at NVIT, the Nicola Valley Institute of Technology in Merritt. My mother is Marcia Sterling, who is from the Stolo Nation, and my father is the late John Sterling, who is from the Intlakapan Nation. I'd like to thank Elder Gibby for starting us off in a good way, Cookshem. I would also like to thank the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations for allowing us to do this important business on their territory today. We would also like to thank our Premier and Minister Mark and Minister Kang, and also Deputy Minister Shannon Baskerville, who may not be here today, for your continued advocacy for the advancement of Indigenous education and our Indigenous youth. So unfortunately, as was mentioned, our president, our fierce warrior, Ken Turand, was not able to be here today, so I get to step in for him. But he is watching, and he's here with us in spirit. So I want to share a few of his words and his story and part of his journey of paddling to get here. So he said that in 2007, this journey started 15 years ago. And at that point, in 2007, the ministry had asked Ken and NVIT if they would be interested in opening up a satellite campus in Vancouver. And with the blessing of the First Nations Leadership Council, the concept of the new Vancouver campus was written into the initial agreement with the BC provincial government, and NVIT opened its doors in May 2007. And I believe Minister Mark mentioned that it was the NDP government who supported that project to start with. So Ken's initial conversation for an urban campus in Vancouver began at first with the Native Education Centre and possibly the possibility of working with them to create an urban centre. But while having lunch with the CEO of the First Nations Technology Council, Denise Williams, she mentioned that Anya might be a possible partner, that they were also working on a capital project to create a larger venue for the Indigenous youth. So one thing led to another. Ken's working his magic, and he was invited to the Anya strategic planning session to present on NVIT and what we could bring to the table. So it was important to both NVIT and Anya that our two organizations have similar values as Indigenous organizations. Common themes that our youth and our students deserve are access to safe and affordable housing, access to quality childcare, access to post-secondary education that is culturally safe and relevant. This urban project is going to meet all of those markers. So NVIT provides the opportunity for our students to not only learn the Western ways of knowing, but we provide a foundation of learning that is based upon Indigenous epistemology, our ways of knowing, being, and doing. We utilize our ancestral stories to identify our values and our belief systems that help us teach and guide our students. We are teaching our students how to navigate this world today, having one foot in the Western world and one foot in our Indigenous world. We are revitalizing our languages, our culture, and our traditions within our programs so that our children and our grandchildren to come will carry these important pieces with them that make us distinctly who we are as Indigenous people. On a personal note, this is my relative's vision. My uncles, my cousins, the late Gordon Antoine, my uncle Robert Sterling, the many chiefs and leaderships within the Nicola Valley who had this dream of bringing Indian education for our people. Education that was built upon our value system and our belief system. And it is amazing to see this to come to fruition. My father, the late John Sterling, was one of the first students that took part in the Natural Resource Technology program in the basement of Lord Nicola Band Hall. And I am also a product of NVIT. I graduated with my Bachelor's of Social Work degree, and I'm currently a PhD candidate with the UBC Okanagan and Vice President of NVIT. This is the dream that we have for every Indigenous youth. Every Indigenous student needs to have access. The sky is the limit. NVIT is excited to work in partnership with Anya to break down barriers and increase access for urban Indigenous youth and students to ladder into NVIT's post-secondary programs. This partnership will seamlessly wrap around emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual supports to provide a culturally safe environment for our students where they can expand and grow. This partnership exceeds the original vision from our relatives of the Nicola Valley from 39 years ago. We will be celebrating our 40th year anniversary of NVIT next year. So lastly, NVIT can't wait to get to work. Cook Shem.
Thank you, Sue, for your remarks and for your dedication to MVIT and its students. And also, we appreciate you speaking on behalf of President Tarrant, who is once again joining us live stream. And Ken, I do want to share our appreciation once again for the work that you do on this project to date, and I know how passionate you are about it. Next, I would like to welcome Mayor Kennedy Stewart to speak to the city's of Vancouver's role as a partner in this very incredible project. Mayor Kennedy.
Wow, there's a buzz around this project, hey? This is very, very exciting, and thank you so much, everybody, for coming today. It is an honor to be here among friends on the traditional unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people. I just have to say it's a great honor to meet Chief Gibby Jacobs today, a legend, but thank you very much for thank you so much for welcoming us to your territory. And Chief Lee, we have met on your territories, and it's very nice to rekindle our relationship. Thank you very much for being here. I did want to say to the Premier, it's so great to see you. And this kind of project can't happen without a provincial government that believes in reconciliation. So I think we should give the Premier a hand and his cabinet a hand for all the work they're doing here. Thank you. So we're gathered here today to help announce a new Indigenous Centre in the heart of East Vancouver, but I like Indigenous Centre of Excellence. I think that it does sound excellent and a beacon for other educational centres to think about having complete people in these organizations. As an educator myself, I think that's sometimes missed, but this looks exactly like where we need to go for all organizations, and that's why I think excellence is absolutely the way we should go for this. Chief Jacob, Chief Spahan, Premier Horgan, Minister Mark, Minister Kang, and all our partners here at the Urban Native Youth Association and Nicola Valley Institute of Technology. This is an incredible day that shows how the power of partnership can deliver for people and advance the critical work of reconciliation. We are a city of reconciliation in Vancouver, and we're proud to be working on this project, which has been 20 years in the making. And I have to say it's my absolute, I think that my favorite thing to do is to talk to the chiefs from Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh and say, what can we do today? What's the next thing that we can work on to make us a true city of reconciliation? And how can we move forward together? So this, again, is another example of how we can do this. The city has contributed land, and we are holding in trust a donation from a private landholder to enable much-needed new housing, childcare, and provide space for post-secondary education and an Indigenous youth centre. And to call this project ambitious is an understatement. It has the potential to change the social and economic landscape for urban Indigenous people in Vancouver, and it's a tremendous accomplishment, and I just can't wait to get the doors open and these rooms filled with learning and sharing. The lack of affordable housing and culturally relevant services for Indigenous people in Vancouver continues to be a critical challenge, and this is the first step we are taking here today. When I see the power of the people here in this room, I know that soon we'll be able to look forward to all the amazing young people who will come through this place and transform their lives and their community for the better. So thanks very much. And this, more than anything, really shows how we are building a Vancouver that works for everybody. So thank you so much for having me here today, and congratulations to everyone.
Thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you for your partnership in this project. We are so grateful for the city's contributions and future role in the project's housing and childcare operations. But now, last but not least, is my favorite person in the province, second to my parents, of course, but a hero I hold in my heart, our BC NDP government leader, Premier John Horgan.
Thank you very much, Anne, and I knew you meant to put your kids in that list as well. Hi, Ken. Good to see you. Good to have you see us here today, realizing your dream. So many journeys shared together, and to come here, all of us, to the traditional territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, and to have Gibby get us started in the good way. I have to say, Gibby and I immediately started talking about our glory days as lacrosse players, and who do I see when I come into the building but Chief Don Tom, whose father and I used to play lacrosse together when we were this big. So lacrosse is, we'll get back to that, Gibby, when we're finished with this extraordinary day. I want to also say that I know Matt smiles a lot, but man, you've been smiling an awful lot this morning, as has Sasha, as has Alaska, as has everyone, because this has been a journey of many, many decades. And to hear Chief Lee, and I lift my hands to Chief Harvey as well, to hear the story of how the Nicola Valley Institute of Technology developed from a handful of people to this vision today is quite an extraordinary journey. And as my sister Melanie says, paddling together is what's made this a possibility. I come from the territory, the shared territory of the Sauk and the Sianu, Coast Salish people, as well as the Pachidat, who are Nch'almouth people. And when I return home, I will talk to my friends and the elders in those communities about the impressive coming together of nations here on the mainland. We sometimes, and Don will confirm this, when we live on the island, sometimes believe that BC Ferries keeps us away from each other. And that's a story for another day. But what's happening today is a true inspiration. We have made great progress as British Columbians with the implementation of the Declaration, the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, embracing and accepting all of the calls to action from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, acknowledging rights and title as Supreme Court rulings have done for generations. Now we do that as a matter of course. But what we're doing today is people working together to realize a vision for a British Columbia that we all know in our hearts can be the best place on the planet. People from diverse backgrounds coming to a place where Indigenous people for millennia all across this extraordinary land have found ways to make British Columbia not just a home, but a place of prosperity, a place of hope, and a place of inspiration. That's how I feel when I talk to Melanie, when I talk to Anne about this project. And I do want to lift my hands to Shannon and the team at Advanced Education. I used to be a public servant before I stumbled into this job. And I know what it's like to have a good idea come by your desk and say, I would love to work on that. But this project, Anya coming together with NBI, Nicola Valley Institute of Technology, to create a space in downtown Vancouver where more and more Indigenous people are coming to call home from all of the different territories across the province. To be a public servant, to be able to say, I worked on that. I rolled up my sleeves. I spent weekends on phone calls. I did what I could to get obstacles out of the way. And to have Mayor Stewart here fully embracing this as he absolutely would, to have him at the head of the government in Vancouver so we can accelerate permitting processes, which we will get into. Well, thank goodness I don't have to get into, but Kennedy will lead very ably on behalf of all of us. To come to that point in the journey is truly inspiring, and I am so grateful to Melanie Mark. Well, let me stop. I'm so grateful to Yvonne Mark. I'm so grateful to Yvonne to have raised a daughter as passionate and powerful as Melanie Mark, a true warrior, one I'm proud to call my sister, proud to call my colleague, and proud to call the Minister of Tourism, Arts, Culture, and Sport, because what I heard today was inspiring, but what really excited me was the prospect of playing basketball here down the road. So sport and education bring us together. We realize our individual potential by collective action together. These are things that have inspired me throughout my life, and to be able to stand here as the Premier of British Columbia, through what we've all been through, in the interior, I think of the challenges that Harvey and Lee and the people in the Nicola Valley have gone through with floods and fires, a global pandemic, any number of other horrors that we can imagine that all of us as individuals and as families and as communities have gone through the past number of years. To be able to stand here today with the Creator letting the sun shine down on East Vancouver, to say we are going to build an extraordinary place to house people, to take care of children, to raise youth in culturally sensitive ways, and to educate them for the 1 million jobs that await us in an economy focused on climate action and sustainability, with the foundation of that, the cultures and traditions of people who have been here forever. It can only be inspiring. Ken, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to realize that potential today. Haisko Siam from the territory of the Siauk, Sianu, and Fachita peoples, and I look forward to telling them all about the smiling faces I saw here today as reconciliation in action happened in a warehouse on the downtown east side to be an extraordinary thing going forward. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Premier of British Columbia, John Horgan. I'm just so inspired by his vision of working for people, making life in British Columbia work for people. But last but not least, I would like to recognize all the staff from Advanced Education Skills Training who are watching live today as well. Staff come, staff goes, but the passion of the Anya project remains. And for 20 years, people from Advanced Education Skills Training, folks from Anya continue to have this vision. So thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this journey together. Now we have NVIT. Now we have the City of Vancouver. Thank you so much to everyone who has been part of this team. Thank you to the elders who have been guiding all of us through this process. Now it is my pleasure to welcome Anya and NVIT for the Grand Chief Gordon Antoine Honor Song and Gift Giving before we take a little break. I would like to welcome all of the speakers to the stage to be part of the ceremony. Please come to this podium. Thank you.
One more time.
Could everybody stand up for a picture? Thank you.
That's for me. That's my orange phone. Orange, just orange for one reason. Every child matters.
And then you just want one thing for the
Smile, everyone.